Hey y'all, I hope you guys have been well. If you just want to hear the strats, skip to this timestamp. This week I ranked up from Emissary 1 to Archon 4, and let me tell you how I did it. And I know, Archon isn't anything to get crazy about, but I am making progress. I had a blast playing on the new patch, and I'm praying for Venator to come out next, but I think we all know it's going to be Silver. I also watched a ton of videos, and I genuinely think that they have made me significantly better at the game. Check them out, I will link them in the description. But I do want to highlight something really cool in one of the videos.
Surfing.
I used to play a lot of CS Surf, so when I suddenly realized that this was indeed a Source game, I couldn't help but wonder if you could surf somewhere on the map. I searched low and high, in and out of New York, and I think this video is the only thing that I was able to find on it. This game is still pretty young, so hopefully new spots get discovered or Valve adds a ramp somewhere on the map. I also have no audio because I was on the wrong scene for my OBS, so this is kind of scuffed. But let's take a look at how and what I did this week. So, this is everything. Basically, out of the 30 games I played, I won 18 of them. That's a 60% win rate, which is actually slightly worse than last week. My KDA remains the same, but my damage numbers have seen a nice uplift. Based on my goals from last week, I played much more aggressively this week, overextending much more than usual to contest the enemy walkers, and it paid off. While my average souls per minute is only marginally better, I've noticed that I've been able to stay relevant in the late game in terms of my damage. This is also clearly reflected in my damage improvements across the board, and I think the reason here is that last week I was just barely under the threshold for some crucial items in the late game, so I was slightly under itemized. Some of the things I learned which really propelled my gameplay was to put more pressure on the map with the urn. Now, you don't even have to run the urn. You can just pick it up, start fucking with it, pretend you're going to do the urn, and have a teammate push you to the other side of the map. Or, well, just do the urn because it's low-key OP. What I've noticed is that the urn is kind of like an invisible objective until someone accidentally picks it up, activating the collective monkey brain of the lobby. The second thing I learned was to just ignore the enemy player for the most part in the early game, because the minions do a surprising amount of damage early, so if you just shove the wave, they'll do everything you need and give you some time to farm camps or boxes. I also started to voice chat in my games, and not only have they become more coordinated, they've been much more fun. Something else that is really crucial is playing into your archetypes. For example, Doorman is a mid-game demon. He has the pressure to chunk heroes and take objectives because of his amazing escape tool. However, he has poor DPS going into the late game. The third walker is a struggle for him to get alone, even the second one is a bit long in comparison to someone like McGinnis. And so, he will often require multiple pushes to cap the objective. Now, I don't know enough about the game to tell you what archetype Hero X is. I can tell you that there are your typical MOBA roles in this game as well. Sieger, Fighter, Bruiser, Hyper Carry, Support, Assassin, etc. And they all occupy slightly different tasks. There are many broken characters in the game, but there is always a counterplay. I used to think Warden was pretty broken, honestly kind of is, but if you hold your CC for any channels as ult, he's cooked. There are a lot of counters like this where you have to change your playstyle, even your entire build against some characters, but you have to anticipate it. If your teammate is feeding the lash, maybe invest in some stamina, spellbreaker, or counterspell. Either one of the three is good. The final thing, probably most important thing you want to ensure in 90% of your games is to keep your left guardian alive. If you look at the map, you'll see that there are many more high value jungle camps on the left side of the map. I mean, just the double sinner alone makes it so. Therefore, if you lose this guardian, you lose a lot of pressure on these camps. It becomes much easier for your enemy to invade, run back to their side of the map because the secret shop is on their side. Yes, this also means that if you lose this Guardian, you will no longer have any more shops on the left side of your map. Of course, the Guardian will fall inevitably. If 4 of them show up to take it, you're better off just pushing the right walker. It is good to note that Guardian resistances fully decays at 10 minutes, and so don't sweat it if you're losing your Guardian at like 15 minutes. You just ideally want to have it survive for as long as possible so that the enemy doesn't just rob you of everything.
Put the money in my ass, nigga.
Oh, and also make sure you enable this extra competitive setting. I don't know if this has been around, but I just found it recently, and honestly, it has made my games, for the most part, better. There are like 1 or 2 more people talking and communicating. I think in general, the game will just try to match you up with players who won't shun you for trying to win. I'm going to continue to work on my objective damage. My stats are trending positively, and I have a firm grasp on the general gameplay loop now, but I still need to learn all the items and the hero counters. That's it for this week. Of course, your boy was the MVP, coming in at 105,000 player damage, but I mean, it was a 65-minute game, so thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next week.